The Entropy Center is the second best game I've played this year. For a few hours, I've been trying to find something that's bad about the Entropy Center in terms of story and mechanics. I can't find anything that I actually really dislike about the game. Let's talk about what the Entropy Center is. The Entropy Center is a first-person puzzle game where you use time manipulation to solve puzzles. You know, think Portal, but with time. Everywhere in the game, you can see the influences from Portal on Entropy Center's design. Its environments and level design are very reminiscent of Portal, along with a lot of the game's mechanics. They all feel very Portal inspired. But for Entropy's story, that's a very different turn. The basis of it is it's a time loop story. On my first playthrough of the Entropy Center, it took me about 8 hours to complete it because, well, I am an idiot sometimes, and I did kind of get stuck on some of the puzzles for a little bit. The Entropy Center's puzzles are ingeniously simple, but they can also get kind of complicated. Not to like a Portal or the Witness endgame level of complicated, but still fairly involved and complicated when it comes to things like transformers or fans once they get introduced close to halfway through the game. Like, it's not overly complicated to the point where you're stuck for an hour plus on a puzzle, but they still require some thinking to get them done and figure out how you should rewind the objects. But also with how slowly the mechanics get introduced to you, you're never overwhelmed by the puzzles. With every puzzle being basically a single room so that you can see where the exit is and what you need to do from the doorway, it makes figuring out those puzzles very satisfying and so much fun to decipher. And unlike Scorn, the combat that is in the Entropy Center feels organic and it feels really good because you're using the most basic of mechanics within the game, i.e. the rewind mechanic, to defeat the enemies by sending their attack back at them or chucking explosive crate at them, because that works also. And the combat, it feels like a core part of the game and not something that was tacked on at the last minute. The combat also comes in bursts throughout the game that it doesn't feel like it's overused, and it feels like the puzzles and the story are the main focus of the game. The overall story starts simple and straightforward, but as you progress, it does kind of get weirder and weirder, but also I think a lot more interesting, especially if you compare it to something like the time loop stuff in Deathloop, which I don't think is all that interesting. And also, as you progress through the story, there is a section that is a very nice change of pace from the normal puzzle areas. In this section, you lose control of everything, and you have to wait for the game to rewind the area when stuff breaks so that you can advance. Or you have to wait for the game to stop rewinding so that stuff will break and you can jump past that. It's a nice change of pace that lasts for the right amount of time so that the player doesn't get bored or annoyed with it. So I know this video is really short. It's mostly because I don't have anything bad to say about the Entropy Center. It's a fantastically straightforward puzzle game that doesn't have really any mechanics that are bad or that make me question why they are actually there. The time loop stories are really good and interesting, and the mechanics and puzzles are super solid and fun to do. I think this is the second best game that I've played all year, right behind Days Gone, which I played at the beginning of the year before I made the channel. I know I'm gonna get yelled at in the comments for that because people are gonna say, oh, you still have to play God of War Ragnarok and Callisto Protocol, and what about Elden Ring and stuff, but that's my opinion. It's my opinion that Days Gone is the best game I've played this year. The Entropy Center is the second best game I've played this year, and I don't care because that's my opinion. Go ahead and yell at me in the comment. But if you did enjoy this video, or you enjoy any of my content, don't forget to hit that like button and maybe subscribe for more. Also, I've got a playlist here with the rest of my 10-hour impressions, along with my latest video if you want to see more of what I do on this channel.